Hey guys, it's Cruise Tips with Christina, and today I'm going to talk about how to find the best hotel to stay at before embarking on your cruise. And just for fun, I'm gonna put on this headband and ask that you please subscribe if you find this video helpful. Also, before diving in, if you just get overwhelmed and you're like, Christina, I just want somebody to tell me the top 1 or 2 hotels for X cruise port, just leave a comment below and I'll give you my personal recommendation for which cruise port to stay at. Okay, so here is how you pick the best hotel for any cruise port. This is all around the world. Okay, first, what I would recommend you do is go to Google. So type in google.com and then just type in the name of the cruise port. For this example, let's say it is Fort Lauderdale cruise port. So type that into Google and then click on Maps. So this will show you in Google Maps where the cruise port is for that specific city, and then just zoom in a little bit so that you get a closer view of the cruise port. Then what you're going to want to do is in the search bar within the map, click out the X so that it no longer says Fort Lauderdale cruise port, and type in hotel and then click search. So when you do this, Google Maps will show you the cruise port, and near the cruise port, it will show you all of the hotels. And the good thing about this is if you hover over the different hotels, it shows you the price. So it makes it really, really easy to see like which hotels are $150 a night, $120 a night, $400 a night, I don't know. But it makes it really, really easy to hover over and see the prices, as well as see the Google review rating, which is very, very important. So what I personally do is I look at hotels that are usually middle tier in price. In my experience, the hotels that are on the cheap end tend to have reviews under 3 out of 5 stars on Google. So you want to avoid hotels with 3 out of 5 stars. Really avoid any hotel with a review of 3.5 stars or lower on Google. It's just not going to be a good hotel before embarking on your cruise. Then what I would do is just kind of choose the top 2 or 3 hotels. So in my example, for Fort Lauderdale, we usually stay at like the Hyatt that's down there. I have a whole article which I can post below if you want to see my like recap of all the different hotels. But anyway, there's that hotel, and then there's like a Holiday Inn Express, which actually only gets 3.7 stars. So it's not great, but it's decent. So I would use the criteria, if you want to be safe, of 4 out of 5 stars or higher on Google. 4.5 stars or higher is always a safe bet. 4 out of 5 stars is my recommendation. You might be okay risking it with 3.7 stars or higher. Do not go below that. Okay, then the last and final step for booking the best hotel for your cruise is to do a final check of the reviews on TripAdvisor. And here's why. The problem with Google reviews is that I don't think they're very weighted. I guess businesses can clean up reviews really easily on Google reviews. They can have negative reviews taken down. And also Google reviews, I think you're either more likely to get the extremes, like really bad or negative, really positive reviews. So I would recommend going to TripAdvisor and then just type in the name of the hotel into TripAdvisor. That will give you more accurate reviews of the hotel. And then just from there, choose the cheapest hotel and book it. I would recommend booking with booking.com, or just calling the hotel directly and booking through them. Little side tip is when my mom and I are cruising, I usually book directly with the hotel, and then I'll call them, like I'll put a reminder on my calendar to call them again in like 2 months before the cruise, 1 month before the cruise, 10 days before the cruise, etc., to see if their prices have gone down. Usually prices do go up with hotels, but sometimes they do lower their prices. So keep that in mind. And then don't forget, when you're booking your cruise port hotel, to mention if you are a AAA member, a senior citizen, or if you're a reward member like Marriott or Hilton. Don't forget to tell them that to get your discount. Okay, other tips for choosing the best cruise port hotel, best hotel near your cruise port. And again, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe below. And if you are just like, oh my gosh, Christina, this is too much like Google searching, because I do mention a lot of different sites, just leave a comment below and be like, hey, Christina, we're flying out of Vancouver. Which hotel should we stay at for our cruise? Just leave a comment below and I'll just tell you and do all the research for you. I'd be happy to do that. Okay, additional tips for choosing the best hotel near your cruise port. One is, don't pay attention to whether they have shuttle service or not. In my experience, the shuttle services are never free to get to the cruise port itself. And then two, they're expensive. It's actually cheaper, in my experience, to book Uber or Lyft to go directly to the cruise port. So pay no attention as to whether the hotel has a shuttle to the cruise port. Same thing with, don't pay attention to whether they have a free shuttle from the airport. Here's why. I agree that a free shuttle service from the airport is really, really nice. In my experience, when traveling, it can be really stressful to get off an airplane and have to wait 30 minutes or sometimes an hour, depending on which city or which airport you're at. I have heard people have to wait 1 hour, not exaggerating, for their cruise shuttle to, not their cruise shuttle, their hotel shuttle to take them to the airport. And that's just miserable, especially if you have kids. So I would recommend ignore whether the hotel has a shuttle service from the airport to the hotel. Just pay the $20 or $15, especially if it's not too far, for an Uber or a Lyft. It just eliminates all the stress and makes your start of your vacation much, much nicer. Okay, another tip I went over, ignore the shuttle service to the cruise port, ignore whether the hotel has shuttle service from the hotel. The third thing to keep in mind is distance to the cruise port. So I would recommend try to book a hotel within 2 miles of the cruise port, just in case traffic's bad, just so that you don't have to wake up really early. Just book a hotel within 2 miles of the cruise port. And ideally, you want to choose a hotel that is walking distance of some restaurants or like a Walgreens or a place to eat for the night that you arrive. Sometimes hotels have really bad food at night. Oftentimes you can't board the cruise ship until like 12 p.m. So you want to have a good place to have breakfast in the morning, maybe grab a Starbucks, treat yourself. So I would look at what is walking distance of the hotel. Again, if this is just overwhelming, leave a comment below and I'll let you know the best hotel to stay at for the cruise port that you are leaving from. That's it. Again, to find the best hotels for different cruise ports, go to Google, type in the name of the cruise port, zoom in, look at the prices, then look at the reviews, choose a hotel with like 3.7 stars or higher, ideally 4 stars or higher, then go to TripAdvisor, verify the reviews. If it looks good, book the hotel, or just leave a comment below and I'll help you out. Ignore whether the hotel, it has shuttle service, make sure it's within 2 miles of the cruise port, and ideally choose a hotel that has stuff walking distance, like a restaurant. I also love it, like when my mom and I leave out of Fort Lauderdale cruise port, if we did not check our luggage on the airplane, if we took it carry-on, we probably didn't pack like sunblock. We will run to the Dollar Tree or like Walgreens and buy sunblock before we get on the cruise, because that is a must have for basically any cruise unless you're going to like Alaska. Okay, one final tip I want to tell you all is you might be tempted to not stay at a hotel, period, and just fly into an airport morning of your cruise. If you are doing this, I would highly recommend you make sure that the plane arrives by 10 a.m. After 10 a.m. is too late. You never know if the plane's gonna get delayed or canceled. Just make sure you book a very, very early morning flight. If there's no flight that arrives before 10 a.m., just pay for a hotel. Second thing is, this is just for Fort Lauderdale in Miami. Do not fly into Miami if you are leaving from Fort Lauderdale cruise port. My mom did this one time. It's very, very common for a lot of people to be like, oh, Miami's close to Fort Lauderdale cruise port. It's way cheaper to fly into Miami. Maybe the flights are direct into Miami, but not into Fort Lauderdale. Side note, do not do it. You might be very, very stressed out. My mom did this one time, and I think it took her like an hour and 10 minutes to get from Miami to Fort Lauderdale cruise port. Just traffic was horrible. It was very, very stressful. So if you do that, plan on it taking like 2 hours or something like that. So that you're not stressed out. Same thing with any other city cruise port. If it shows you that it might take like 45 minutes, I would multiply that by 3 to plan more than enough time to get to your cruise. You don't want to be stressed out. Again, if you thought this video was helpful, leave a comment below. If you want me to let you know which hotel to book near your cruise port, just let me know the city below and I'll help you out. If you have any questions about cruising, again, leave a comment. I would love to help you out. Until next time, bye guys.